Universities are like their own little unique jungles. And they're places where you could go and you could find amazing things like you'd find in a jungle, or you could face some extreme challenges. Well, in some of these jungles, on one end of the spectrum, you get guided everywhere through the jungle. I don't know about you, but that's not the most exciting way to experience a jungle. On the other end of the spectrum, you could be left out there by yourself to experience all of the booby traps, the quicksand, and the lions all by yourself. You get eaten alive in a place like that. Well, MIT is a great place where we have balance, where we work very hard to make sure that we give enough guidance, but at the same time, we step back out of the way so that people can go experience things by themselves. And that's important. That's how growth happens. It's particularly important at MIT because at MIT, our students will run into some of the technological problems that plague our society. I like to call these dragon challenges, right? They seem insurmountable. But MIT is the best place for our students to learn about these because MIT is on the edge of the map with respect to technology, and at the edge of that map, it says, here there be dragons. Now, MIT was built for people that aren't afraid of dragons, for people that aren't afraid of making their way through the forest, through the unknown. We want people at MIT that want to build their own machete, want to forge their own path, and when they get to the edge of the map, not be afraid to go past it. My name is Marty Culpepper. I'm a professor in mechanical engineering, and I'm MIT's Makerspaces. And that modest title, what it really means, is just it's my job to make sure that all of our students have the best possible making experience in the academic realm. Now, when I came to MIT, it was this amazing jungle, and I was so lucky to have this guide. And his name's Alex Slocum, a professor of mechanical engineering. And Alex dresses like this every day, but people don't mind it because he's crazy smart and he's a great person. I want to tell you a story about Alex, and this exemplifies what I'm talking about, knowing when to guide and knowing when to get out of the way. So I did my master's and my PhD with Alex. Spent a couple years learning how to build complicated machines with him. And then one day I was looking at one of those machines, and I said, Alex, the physics says if we do this little thing to it, it'll work better. But the problem was it was 180 degrees, a hard 6, from what the last 100 years of best practices said you should do. And Alex said, well, I don't know if that's going to work. And I said, well, I'm going to try it anyways. He said, all right, go on ahead. I built the thing, tested it, it worked. And when I came back to Alex, I said, Alex, look at what happened. And he said, that's really cool. Tell me how that works. And that's the quintessential example of the great mentor-mentee relationship at MIT. Somebody that teaches you how to get in there and slug it out with technical problems, but when it gets to the point where it's your turn to go out and battle those dragons, they step back out of the way, and then you either learn by being successful or you get burnt. Now, MIT works best when people just know when to get out of the way. Now, you might actually be in the student's way and you don't even know it. And we had an experience like this at MIT. I'm going to tell you the story of that. It has to do with Makerspaces. If you get in an MIT student's way and they've got a goal and they know where they want to go, they'll just go around you. But what we found out was that we were trying to help the students out with their making, but we're actually in their way. And they went around us. And I learned this my very first year as Makerspaces. I ran a survey and I asked those students, I said, well, tell us about all of the makerspaces we have on campus. And these are spaces that have been built over decades to help people build things for classes, etc. We spend millions of dollars every year running these things, dozens of people that staff them, so they're there for people to go build things where they need to innovate. And the students said, well, in the resounding voice through the surveys, they said, well, it's great for us when we want to build things for classes. But when I need to build something for my startup or when I need to do X, Y, or Z, it's more of a hassle, and so I just build things in my dorm room. And that data freaked the safety people out. But it was important for us because it was shocking, and I learned to talk to the students and figure out how we were helping them, how we needed to get out of the way, all the things we needed to do to make their making experience better. Well, those students I'm happy to say I've helped us build some of the best makerspaces that could possibly exist at MIT. All right? I hope you see a pattern. Students that need to get a job done, and they circumvent it, and then they go around. Okay? So we've learned that, all the work that we've done at MIT through Makerspaces needs to help us to figure out how to help the students do these things better. All right? We've learned how to get out of their way. We need to figure out how to solve problems that vex them that we didn't even know about. So, for example, offering them more chances to build things and fail. For example, that student that has to carry that 30-pound robot home through the snow because they can't store their project at their makerspace, right? And then bring it back the next day. That makes people not want to make. So we've learned a lot about what we have to do. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to try to take care of those problems at MIT. Right now at MIT, we have about 130,000 square feet of makerspaces and machine shops. Now, out of all of that, it's about 2 football fields of space. Out of all of that, only about 5% of that space is what we call community makerspace. And it turns out for the future, that's what our students most need to solve the next generation problems. And it turns out for our innovators and our entrepreneurs, that's the space that they like the best. Right? So you might recognize behind me some of the spaces like Miters, the Hobby Shop, or the Maker Workshop. Okay? But the problem is, that's not enough. We need 3 times as much space as we have right now. And so this is actually the reason why we are launching the design of MIT's biggest makerspace. And this makerspace will be built within the Metropolitan Warehouse as part of the overall larger renovation of that space. That is going to be a community makerspace where anybody from the MIT community can come. Students, staff, faculty, and yes, everybody in this room, alumni, and their significant others, and maybe their children. But we're going beyond that because we've learned, all right, people of differing physical abilities have a hard time just even going into a makerspace and using it. We're going to make sure everybody on campus has the ability to get into that space and access every piece of maker tech in that space. Now, this will be fantastic. Once we get this done, everybody from every course can come in there, they can hang out, they can work together, innovate. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we even achieve that, it'll be a great thing. But if we achieve that, it will fail eventually. Because if we build what we need for right now and don't plan for the future, 10 years from now, it's not going to be the best. And so what we need to do is hardwire into that place, into its mission, into the people that work there, and into the culture of the place, that this is going to be a place not just for satisfying the making needs of the day, but at the same time, we're going to be doing basically a giant experiment of innovation and making, how we make sure that MIT students now, 5, 10, 20 years from now, have the best in making of any place on the planet. Now, that's going to take a constant investment of resources. And our peer universities, they're not stupid, right? Right now, they're trying to develop better ways for their students to make things beyond what we can do. Well, I don't know about you, but as an alum, I'm just not having that, all right? I refuse to let that be what happens. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that our students forevermore have the best making ability, best maker experience now and off into the future. Well, I can't do that by myself. The faculty can't do it by themselves. The students can't do it. It's going to take the entire MIT community to do it. It's going to take a significant investment, resources, time, effort, the commitment to stick with it and get it done, the discipline not to want to go back to the old ways of doing things that were easier and less expensive. And all of this matters because when somebody thinks of MIT, they don't just think of a building, or they may see a building and it triggers, oh yeah, that's MIT. But the thing that they think about is there's a lot of smart people in that building working on very difficult problems, coming up with innovative solutions. And as alums, we all know that that's made possible by Men's at Manus. Now, if we don't provide the best making experience for our students, how can we be the best at Men's at Manus? So if Men's at Manus really matters to us, if we believe all the things you saw on the video earlier, right? It was men's at Manus that made that possible. If we believe that that's important to the way that MIT has shaped the world and the way that it's going to shape the world moving forward, then we as alumni, we as the MIT community are going to have to roll up our sleeves, put our backs into it, double down, and make this happen. Now, make no mistake, there's never been a space like this built at MIT. As a matter of fact, no university has ever done what we envision doing. And what that means is that this is a huge problem that nobody knows how to solve. It's one of those giant dragon challenges. But I know that y'all as alumni know how to deal with dragons. All right, what I'm asking for is for your help to help tackle this dragon, to look that challenge in the eye, and to deal with it. I want to thank all of you for everything that you've done to make sure that MIT can be the place where students come, they learn to build their own machete, hack their way through the jungle, learn how to chop down trees, build bridges over all the obstacles that'll get in their way. And yes, when they come to the edge of the map, not be afraid to keep going. And if they run into a dragon, how to look at that dragon and know how to deal with it. Thank you.